mirrors in the sand, thriving through the storm. I invite you all to observe this child wearing glasses. He's stuck up in this volatile VUCA world, totally ambiguous in this complexity, trying to make sense. There's a storm going on. He's just looking, observing. He's lost. He's trying to find a way so that he can thrive in that condition. He sees this building, this infrastructure, which is dilapidated. What we need is a restructuring of it, a re-architectural position of it, so that the child can adapt to the storm. He's lost again, trying to find. Suddenly he sees these coins, collaboration, humility, reflexivity. What does that mean to this child? He's trying to make sense of the connections of how all of this works so that he can find a way out. He can thrive in the storm. Suddenly he sees this glass. Look at his eyes. It's curiosity. He's lost, he's amazed, but he is also trying to make sense of this glow, that silver lining that he can see in this glass. Is it his own reflection? Is it the world? What is it? He wants to make sense of it. Finally, he sees himself smiling. What is this smiling face? It is the future. It's this future that he wants to see himself flourishing. This is hope. This is joy. But he has some place, he has some time to overcome that place and make this a reality where he's smiling.
As the mosaic of faces appear, a globe of different perceptions, perspectives, and understanding that there are more curiosities and questions aligned. Reflexivity widens the frame until gaps are obvious. Then we see the traveler approaches. You signal for openness, and you understand that you want to continue to help them, to continue to be with other people, to show them the next way. As we continue to look further, the child then humbly looks up and sees that the traveler comes down and wants to understand more, wants the answers to the questions that he has, and humbles himself for what? For honesty, more perspective. And he continues to lend his ear. He continues to see that he tunes himself across all disciplines, science, poetry, solar, technology, and threads appear so that he can understand that it's the curiosity that replaces a posture.
What happens when we trade lenses? What happens when we let the poets write the code? When we let the engineers paint the pictures and paint the art? We can swap these lenses, and through this mindset swap, we can embrace a different way of thinking. And when we embrace a different way of thinking, that can lead us to collaboration. And with our form of collaboration and always having our mirror, which stands for reflexivity, as our guiding principle, that always lets us know whether we're on track or whether we need to adjust. Here, we see the mirror, we're guided, and we can collaborate and we create a shelter. And that flexible shelter that's been built by all is able to withstand the forces of the VUCA world. And here we always see that we have the mirror to guide us in our quest for reflexivity. Even when the times look dark, the shelter that's been built by an adaptable community can survive. And not only survive, it can thrive. What does it look like when a community can flourish and come together even in the midst of a VUCA world? The uncertainty doesn't go away, but in the midst of that, we can still find a ray of hope. We can see nature, we can plant a ray of hope and have that grow into something else. And have our principles always be reflexivity, humility, and collaboration, which leads to building. When we build our communities based on these three principles, we can build resilient communities that can scale over time. And they begin to flourish and thrive beyond just the individual that started the community. And here we have a flourishing scene of intergenerational community building. We have drones, we have technology, we have a world that's been built by uncertainty, or that's been built by people who are thriving in that. And then that leads us to our legacy. What footprints do we want to leave? With these flourishing communities, we want to have measurable impacts like uh, increasing literacy, reducing heat strokes. But at the end of the day, it's more than just the numbers. A thriving community is a lasting community that expands and that helps other communities expand and flourish. Because if one community is thriving, all communities can thrive. And here in the distant background, we see the remnants of perhaps an outdated system, an architecture that was not designed for human flourishing. And what does that look like over the next 10 years here? We have communities that are expanding in the distant background. We still see some remnants of that old architecture, that old infrastructure, but it's decaying. It can't stand up to the forces of the VUCA world. And here we see that our communities are getting even bigger. The communities are thriving, and we have our guiding principle of reflexivity that is still at the heart of everything that we do. We have the remnants of the old world, but more than that, we have the ability to thrive as a community, and we see that others are thriving as well. So I ask you, next time you look into a mirror, what do you see? What mindsets do you want to bring into your community? Together, we can all flourish, dare greatly, embody the mindset.